Hi, and welcome back to another AnyRPG Development Livestream. In this video series, you can watch the live development of the AnyRPG Engine, a free and open source role-playing game engine designed in Unity and written in C#. If you don't already have a copy of AnyRPG, you can pick one up from anyRPG.org/downloads in both Unity package and source code format. You can also download A Lost Soul, the free playable game that I work on in these episodes, at the same page. In this episode, we will be continuing on the gold reward scaling. In the first part of this two-part series, we added gold reward scaling to mobs in the game, and we don't have any gold reward scaling for quests yet, so we will be adding that in this episode. In the last episode, we added the system configuration manager settings for the currency scaling. And so we have the kill currency, and we set the quest currency, but we didn't actually hook it up to the quests yet. And so if we're looking at these quests right here, you can see that we have a couple of different types of rewards. We can be rewarded with skills, abilities, factions, items, and experience, but there is nothing in here for currency. So let's go ahead and add that. We've got experience reward, base experience, and experience reward per level. So we might as well add a gold reward, base gold reward, and gold reward per level. And then we will add the system gold or reward scaling on top of that, so that we can make certain quests reward us more gold if they're particularly tough. So let's go ahead and just add the inspector properties for that. So we'll open up the quest class, and we will look for the rewards. Right here we have an experience reward. We will make a currency reward. And we'll have a base currency reward and a currency reward per level. And we'll just update the tooltip so that it's accurate here. And this should also say the currency for the quest, scaled by level, any automatic quest currency. And finally, what we'll want to do is in the system configuration manager, we'll just go find the quest currency, go to the definition of that, and we'll add a quest currency name. And we'll call this, let's see, we'll call it reward currency name. And we'll call it reward currency. So technically you could have like a different currency for the quest, as well as the system currency if you set those differently. So let's just let those inspector properties refresh so we can take a look at it. There, so now we have currency reward. We will need one more thing. We'll need a Boolean just to say whether or not we want to add the default scaled system currencies to this. So this will be a private bool automatic currency reward equals, and we'll just have it false by default, I guess. Not all quests should give currency. It makes the most sense to give a currency reward if you're actually turning the quest into something one, but like, I mean, if you turn a quest in at like a rock or like some other inanimate object, like how would that object give you money, right? So we'll keep that as not a default, and we'll say if true, the quest will reward currency based on the system quest currency reward settings. Okay, there. So we have automatic currency reward, base reward currency name, base currency reward, and currency reward per level. That looks pretty good. And now we want to go find our quests here. And after everything I said about not having these set as default, I'm going to go ahead and set every quest in my game to have automatic currency reward, just because I want to test this out, so I don't really care how much sense it makes. We will not add currency rewards to the achievements though. Yeah, okay. Actually, we're not going to add them to these as well, because this is basically just an item that just gives you an ability, so there's no reason that you should get money for that either. Okay, so far so good. Now we need to actually display the experience that we get, so, or I mean the reward. So in the game, we can load up one of our characters who has a quest here and look at what the quest reward window looks like. So I'll just jump on this guy over here in the crystal mine, and we can take a look, and we can see that we get a reward of experience 220 XP, but we don't see any gold reward there. So let's go ahead and update the code that shows the description for the quest to include the currency reward. So I think somewhere in the quest class here, we'll actually have a summary which has the description and the base experience reward. And then we have objective lists. Here we go. So this is where most of this is done. So we're doing the name, the description, and the objective lists. We also want the reward lists. So let's just see where those are. So we'll find all references to the ability reward list. And this is displayed in the quest giver UI. So this is what we want to be editing here. So let's just look for the code that actually displays it, and it's right here on the show description in a class called quest details area. So here is where we want to display it, because we have experience reward dot text and then item rewards. Okay, so right after the experience but before the item, we want to display currency rewards. So let's go open up the quest details area prefab and look at the scene view, and basically here it is right here. And so what we'll want to do is add a new subheader. We have experience reward, and then we should have currency reward. So with experience, it's just a text. With currency, what I want to do is have basically a header and an area the same way that I do with the other ones. So we're going to Control D to duplicate XP reward. We're going to call this currency reward. We are going to move it up under XP reward, and we will call it heading. We'll set the text to currency. Then similarly to the way that we have an ability rewards area, I'm going to duplicate that, and we will call this the currency rewards area. Okay, that looks good. So then we'll want a reference to these two things. So in the quest details area, we'll open that up. And copy and paste those values. So we'll have the currency heading, and I'm just going to call this the currency area. And we'll save that. Okay, so now we want to make references to those, so we will pull in the currency reward heading and pull in the currency reward area. Now we have a reward icon prefab and the faction reward icon prefab, and I want a separate prefab for currency because I want to actually display the currency so that you don't have to like mouse over it. So we'll have a name beside it. So to do that, we'll go back into here and we will make a currency reward prefab and save that. All right, good. And then we should actually go make that prefab. So the prefab that I want to use is actually from the loot button. Now the loot button is part of the loot UI, which is part of the loot window. Let's just go see how we're making loot buttons in there. We have a loot panel. And actually it looks like we don't even use prefabs for this. We just have a array of loot buttons. So in fact, maybe what I'll do then is I'm just gonna, let's see, slot 1 has the loot button on it, perfect. So I'm just gonna basically copy this then directly into the currency rewards panel. So we'll go into the quest details area here, and we'll just grab the loot panel and we'll just pull it into the bottom here. We will unpack that prefab completely. We'll take slot 1 and we will just pull it up into the currency rewards area. Then we will delete the loot panel. Loot button is, I think, actually fine to keep in there. What I do want to do though is I just want to set the description background to no color. And while we're at it, let's just take the text and move it over to the left. Okay, that looks good. Now, what we want to do is actually figure out the amount of loot that we should show there, and then see how the loot panel is actually calling those loot buttons and populating them with information. So we've got this list of loot buttons here. Let's find all references to it and just see how we populate them. So we have an add loot function that just sets the icon on it and sets the loot drop. And then at some point, I think it's possibly in the actual loot button itself. No, we don't actually show the description in there. So if we look at the My Title and find all references to that, we set it here, and we're getting the loot drops My display name. And the loot drops My display name is actually a calculated field. which comes from get description, which comes from get summary, which comes from this one right here. So what we want to do then is basically use the same sort of code that we've got in the loot drop in order to display that information in the quest details area. So let's go look for the show description, and we will now calculate the currency rewards. So what we'll need to do is calculate an amount and a currency reward type. So to calculate the amount, we'll need to use the fields that are in the quest. So if quest dot, and I don't think I've actually exposed those yet. So we'll go to the currency rewards here. We will do quick actions and refactoring, encapsulate field on all of these things. Okay. Let's save that. Then if quest dot automatic currency reward equals true, and let's see, what we want to do is set an amount. So float currency amount equals quest dot base currency reward plus quest dot currency reward per level times and in this case that would be quest dot my experience level, which is a calculated field, so that'll always return the correct level for the quest, whether it's dynamic or static. Then we need a currency equals quest dot reward currency. We'll have to get a reference to the reward currency because we don't have that yet. So much like in the system configuration manager where we set it in our setup scriptable objects, we'll do the same thing in the quest. So at the bottom of the quest here, we've got a setup scriptable objects method where we go ahead and just get references to everything that we need to. And in this case, I believe we called it reward currency name and reward currency. Okay, so now that we have a reference to the reward currency, we can reference it here. All right, next thing that we need to do is we need to calculate any amounts from the quest itself. So what we just did is we just calculated the system amounts. No, what we just did is we actually just calculated the quest amount. So now we actually need to calculate the system amounts. So, and to calculate the system amounts, if our, let's actually see here, quest currency name. So if system configuration manager.myInstance.quest currency does not equal null, then we'll want to add those as well. To do that, we'll have currency system currency and float system currency amount equals, and in this case this is per level, so system configuration manager.myInstance.quest currency amount per level times quest dot my experience level. Okay, now there does exist the possibility that they could be different. And in that case, we would need to do something about that. Now, with the loot drops, what we do is we have this used currency nodes, and let's see where we call recalculate values from. So what recalculate values does is it squishes them and then basically shows the one at element 0, which is okay for now. I am totally okay with it doing that. So I kind of want to make this into part of the currency converter class, because the currency converter class we can access from anywhere. So this seems like the kind of thing where we would want to do that. Now it does set a local value, and it returns the one with commas in it. It returns the one with commas. So I want it to return the one with new lines all the time, and what I think I'm going to do is here, I'm just going to basically replace new lines with commas. That seems like the best way to go, and then I can just put this whole thing inside the currency converter class. So we're going to Control X and remove that from the loot drop class. We are then, I think actually currency converter might even be in here. No, let's go find currency converter. Okay, good. So what we'll do is make this a public static string recalculate values. We'll have it return the /ns. We do not need to set the summary. And in this case, I want it to return the icon as an out property. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so the icon can be null. What is the icon here? I think it's a sprite. Because that's a sprite. Yes, okay. So we'll have sprite icon and then bool set icon equals true. Okay, good. So that will now allow us to access this from the currency converter class. So then we want to go into the loot UI, which, into the loot drop. There we go. Okay. And then now we've got some invalid references here. So what we'll do is make this the system currency, no, we just want this currency converter dot recalculate values, sending in icon and false. Good, that works. And then currency converter dot recalculate values, sending in icon, which will automatically default to true. Perfect. Okay, so now that we've abstracted the functionality that we need out of loot drop and into a place where that we can access it from everywhere, what we want to do is basically create that list of currency nodes that we can send in. So to do that, we need a new list of currency node. Currency nodes equals new list of currency node. And here we will make a currency node equals new currency node, and then instead of setting floats, we will set currency node dot my amount and currency node dot currency. We'll do the same, right, and then what we'll do is we'll do currency nodes dot add and then add this new currency node. We'll do the same thing here. Take and make a new currency node, add it to the main currency nodes array. After setting its amount, and its currency reference. So now that we have a list of currency nodes, we can pass that into the description. Okay, so essentially what we want to do here is show or hide the heading based on the lack of currency rewards or not. So we already do that for the item rewards. So basically what we want to do now is if our list of currency nodes dot count is greater than 0, then this currency, what did we set for the currency heading again? Currency heading dot gameObject dot setActive true, else setActive false. And we'll also want to set the currency area active to true. So currency area set active false, and currency area set active true. Okay, now we just need a reference to the thing that holds the description. So let's go look for that. We will open up the quest details area. And this is what holds our description. We've just got an icon and a title that we can set. Okay, so we'll just get a reference to the loot button and we will set those. So let's see. Instead of currency reward prefab here, I will just make a reward to loot, or I mean a reference to loot button. So let's see, we have currency reward prefab. This is just going to be loot button, currency loot button. We'll let that compile. And then we'll pull down slot 1 into there, and now we should be able to set all those properties through the loot button. Okay, so here if our loot button does not equal null, because you never know, maybe it might have a reference to it, and this was actually the currency loot button, then our we're going to pass in the icon. Okay, so how do we want to do this here? Currency loot button dot, what did we call the text again? Title. Currency loop button dot my title equals, and in this case we want currency converter dot recalculate values based on our list of currency nodes, sending in our currency loop button dot my icon. By default, that will be true. All right, what's wrong here? This is image. So we're setting my icon.sprite. And this is supposed to bring a string, so we want my title.text. Okay, and that should both set the icon and the text properly, assuming that our currencies were actually lined up for the quest. Otherwise, it's just going to show one of them, which I'm okay with for now. Okay, so far so good. Let's save that and press play. And I want to go take a look at some of my characters and their quests and just see if they're actually properly showing the reward amounts for those quests. Okay, so argument value cannot be null. All right, let's see what happened there. Essentially, we sent in a node with no currency. So we're going to have to protect against that. If currency node dot currency does not equal null, then we're going to do this stuff right here. And the reason that happened is because if we go look at the quest, I set the system quest or system currencies, but I don't think I actually set the currencies on those individual quests. So let's just go try to find those quests. Got investigate light fury outpost quest, perfect. So here we go. That's because I just didn't set any reward currencies. Interestingly enough, that actually shouldn't have added anything. So let's just go back and look at that. The logic is actually backwards here, basically. If the quest automatic currency reward is true, then we actually want to perform the system configuration manager stuff here. And then if the quest dot reward currency does not equal null, then we want to do all that stuff. Okay, let's save that and try that again. So we'll just jump on our lobby here in the mine. Okay, cool. So let's see. We're at level 11. The quest is set for 1 silver per level, so that's not bad. The only thing that's wrong there is the icon isn't getting properly set. Let's jump back out to the main menu. We'll load the game here, and we'll pull up one of our other characters. Right here. Let's go check her quest, which is complete, and I'm seeing 20 silver for it. Perfect. So it looks like the scaling is working, but the icon's just not getting set properly. So let's just go take a look at that. If I look at the currency converter class, we have set icon is true by default. Okay. So let's just see what's happening here. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be changing, because we set the text on it. So let's just go to the definition of that code. Currency converter dot recalculate values. We have a squish node because we properly set the return strings. So what's happening there exactly? So let's see, lootable drop dot recalculate values. And setting icon and I just want to see just icon.name or something like that. Okay, let's jump back into the game and just see what our debug messages say about that. Okay, so jump onto our lobby. And it says setting the icon to coins small silver. So let's see if we can figure out why that's not working. We want to look at the quest details area in the scene, going into 2D view. Hit F to focus on it. This is the right one. Okay, so under our quest details area, we have our icon, and it's still set to the sample image. That's so strange. It's like it just didn't even update it at all. Okay. That's super odd. We are being told that we are setting the icon to coin small silver. And yet it's not happening. I wonder, just out of curiosity, if I set this to image, no? Okay. Do I need unityengine.ui for that? And then if I set this here to icon.sprite, I wonder if that will work. Like, I have a feeling it's just like I'm overwriting a reference or something and not actually setting the right value on it. So let's try to fix that. Or I wonder if it was just the fact that I didn't even have UnityEngine.ui in here. Okay. This is for the loot drop. I am just gonna well, no, I don't want to do that in insert mode. Okay, I'm just gonna temporarily disable this just to let the thing compile properly, because I just want to see if it was actually that issue. So let's try this again. Okay. Yeah, interesting. All right, so this is good. Now we've got the correct currency showing. I'm actually a little bit curious. If I revert these changes and set this to a sprite again, now that I have UnityEngine.ui inside of the currency converter, will it properly set the coin small silver icon? So let's try that. No, it won't. Okay, so basically we now know that we need to keep a reference to the image instead of the sprite. So here, let's see how we're going to do this. Basically, I guess we need a private image icon. And that means we'll need UnityEngine.ui here as well. And on the loot drop, we'll have a private image my icon. No, we will have a private sprite my icon. All right, so here we'll just return icon.sprite. And that actually allows us to pass this in correctly. Okay. So far so good. Then that allows us to pass in this correctly and allows us to conform to the iDescribable interface. So I think that will work. All right, let's save that and just go give that a shot and see if we have our silver icons back. And if we do, then we can make it so that we actually get some gold when we turn this quest in. All right, good. My silver icon is back. Excellent. So now let's make it so that when we turn this quest in, we actually get some gold. So here, when we take loot, we're basically going through and adding this stuff to the currencies. So we'll use something similar here. So when we turn in a quest, we will be giving ourselves these rewards. Let's find out where we do that. And it's right here in Complete Quest. So let's see, we give faction, we give ability. Let's give the let's give the currency rewards right here. So what I want to do is now basically we've got this list of currency nodes and we'll actually need to basically do this calculation again. So let's put this in its own method and attach it to the quest. So this will be a public list of currency node, get currency reward. And at the end, we'll return the currency nodes. Okay, good. So then here, we can just now call get or quest.get currency reward. Okay, so now we can use this exact same code right here. And then this is the current quest. And then we just need to add these. So for each currency node in currency nodes. And we're going to add that currency. And then write a message. I don't think we need to do any of the rest of that stuff. So add currency, currency nodes, and this is actually just currency node dot currency. Currency node dot my amount. And recalculate values based on the currency node, not setting the icon and just going ahead and passing in null. And here it actually wants a list. Which is kind of interesting. How did that ever work then? Oh, I see. We actually, we made a temporary list so we could just pass that in. Okay. Okay, good. That should work. So now we should be able to hand in the quest and actually gain some currency for it. So let's save that. And we'll press play. And then we'll just go try to turn in a few quests and just make sure we get the correct amount of money. So let's start with this guy over here. I'm just going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to go into the scene. I'm going to grab my player unit right here. I'm going to hit F to focus on him. I'm going to zoom him way out. And I'm going to plunk him down right there so he can just turn in the quest. So what I'm looking for is a message that I have received 11 silver and for my currency amount to go up by 11 silver. So I should end up with 6 gold, 21 silver. Let's complete that. It says that I gained 11 silver, 0 copper. That's good. Now I can go back to my currency tab and I see 21 silver. Excellent. So we got the correct amount of silver. Now there's just one little tiny thing here that I need to fix, and that's the fact that when I did this log here, I forgot to replace those strings. So we have the new lines instead of the spaces. So here, what we want to do is, I think, yeah, there we go. This is a string, so we are going to replace /n with a space. No, you know what? That's wrong. I want to take this. I want to copy it. And I want to do this when I'm actually adding the stuff to my inventory. So right here where we say gained, I want to replace there. And I want to do the same thing. I think the loot UI. Let's just see here. I want to find all references to where recalculate values is being called, and I want to do it here as well in the loot drop. Okay, great. Let's try that one more time and just make sure that it's going to display those properly. So we're just going to cheat again. We're going to go back. We're going to grab our player unit, middle click there, Control-Alt-F to move the player into place, and complete the quest. And there we go. Gained 11 silver, 0 copper, and gained 220 experience. Excellent. So we can now get scaled money as a reward for a quest, which was basically one of the last few scaling issues that we had in the game, that we basically couldn't get money for quests and we couldn't scale it. So as always, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up the video, subscribe to the AnyRPG YouTube channel, or just leave a note in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.